He was the most powerful man alive. He ruled an empire of millions. And every morning before the sun rose, he wrote a warning to himself. By candlelight, inside a war tent, the Emperor of Rome opened a private notebook. Not to give orders, to remind himself of one single thing. You will die, you will be forgotten, and none of this power will matter. This was not a threat from an enemy. It was a note to himself. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and the book he never meant to publish would outlive his entire empire by 2,000 years. He gave it no title. He showed it to no one. He wrote for the only person he could never truly command, himself. Today we call it Meditations, one of the most quoted books in all of human history. But here is what almost no one realizes. It was never written to be read. Not by you, not by anyone. It is a private journal. We are reading a dead man's secret thoughts. And those thoughts came from a man carrying a weight few in history have ever matched. Absolute power and absolute pressure. Plague, war, betrayal, the death of his own children. He faced all of it, and he wrote his way through every night of it. To understand the book, you have to understand the man, and Marcus Aurelius was never actually supposed to rule. He was born into a wealthy Roman family, serious, quiet, obsessed with learning. Even as a boy, people saw something rare in him. The Emperor Hadrian saw it too. He nicknamed the boy Verissimus, the truest one, the most truthful child he had ever known. And Hadrian set a plan in motion. He arranged for this quiet boy to one day inherit the throne of the entire Roman world. So Marcus was pulled from an ordinary life into the machine of imperial power, groomed, educated, watched, prepared for a crown he never asked for. As a young man, Marcus found something that would define his whole life. A philosophy called Stoicism. Stoicism made one radical claim. You do not control the world. You control only how you respond to it. Wealth can vanish. People betray you. Your body fails. Death comes for everyone. None of it is truly in your hands. But your judgment, your character, your choices, those are yours. And the Stoics believe that is where real freedom lives. For most people, philosophy is just words. For Marcus, it would become survival, because his life was about to fill with disaster. In the year 161, Marcus became Emperor of Rome. The most powerful role on earth. He did not celebrate. He did something no emperor had done before. He insisted on sharing the throne with an adopted brother. He wanted less of the crown, not more. And almost at once the disasters began. Rome was attacked on several fronts. The peace he inherited shattered fast. His reign would not be remembered for calm. It would be defined by war, by sickness, and by one crisis after another. Then came the plague. Soldiers returning from the east carried a sickness back into the heart of the empire. It tore through cities and armies alike. Historians believe it killed millions across the Roman world. The scale is staggering. Whole regions emptied out. The army was gutted. The economy buckled. And Marcus had to hold the entire empire together anyway. Through all of it at night, he kept writing, reminding himself to stay just, stay calm, do the work in front of him. For years, Marcus lived in military camps on the frozen northern frontier. Far from the comfort of Rome, he was no natural soldier, a scholar thrown into command, leading brutal campaigns against the tribes across the Danube. And it was here, in these cold tents between battles, that most of the Meditations was written. Not in a palace, in a war zone. Line after line he coached himself. On patience, on death, on dealing with cruel and difficult people, on simply doing his duty. He was ruler of the known world, and he spent his private nights just trying to become a slightly better man. His public life was war. His private life was grief. Marcus and his wife had many children. Most of them died young. He buried child after child. The pain in his writing is quiet, but it is there. A father losing almost everything he loved, and then came the betrayal. One of his most trusted generals, Avidius Cassius, declared himself emperor. A revolt from within his own ranks. Marcus prepared to march against him, but before civil war fully erupted, Cassius was killed by his own men. The threat simply collapsed. And given the chance for revenge, Marcus reportedly grieved that he could not forgive the man in person. Even betrayal, he tried to meet with reason. Marcus never stopped working. He stayed on campaign, on the frontier, deep into his final years, his body slowly wearing down. In the year 180, on the northern front, Marcus Aurelius died. Likely of illness. Still at his post, still at war, Rome mourned him as one of its greatest emperors. The last of the so-called 5 good emperors. An age of wisdom ended with him, and then, almost immediately, everything he had tried to protect began to fall apart. Marcus left the empire to his son, Commodus. And Commodus became almost everything his father was not. Vain, cruel, obsessed with the arena. Under him, the golden age Marcus had guarded began its long decline. It is the great irony of history. The most disciplined emperor of all produced a son who threw discipline away. Rome would never again feel quite so stable. Marcus, it turned out, could master himself, but not the future. And yet, the one thing Marcus never tried to save is the very thing that survived. His private notebook. It was never meant for us, but copy by copy, it slipped quietly through the centuries. Somehow, it endured. 2,000 years later, people still open it. Soldiers, leaders, the grieving, the lost, and they find themselves inside it, because his problems are our problems. Anger, fear, loss, time slipping away. The struggle to stay decent in a hard world. He was not writing to impress anyone. He was just a man trying to get through the day with his soul intact. That is why it lasts. So here's the strange truth. The most powerful man in Rome left us his weakest, most human moments. Not his victories, not his monuments, his doubts, his fears, his reminders to simply be good. He told himself he would be forgotten. He was wrong. 2,000 years on, we are still listening. You will die. It will not matter. Be good anyway. That was his secret. And now it is yours.